Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Touria. Let's check it out. Setup for the game is very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to put out these 4 towers here on the corners here. The board will show you where their starting position is for each one. You're going to then draw gems from a bag here. Put out 2 for each little area that you see has the little marks here on the board. However, if you draw out 2 blacks at the same time, they can't be on the same square. You have to disperse them or just reshuffle and get 2 different gems. Now, any other color gems, there can be 2 of them, just not 2 black gems in one spot. You're going to also shuffle these little magic pine cones here, deal 2 out for the forest fairy. There's little areas where you deal them out there. You have your dragon die here. You're going to put it right here by the dragon. You're also going to have your dealer here. He's got your coin dealer. You're going to shuffle these 3 stacks, put 1 out each. You're also going to have your starting player right here. There's 1 starting player everyone controls. This is all you. All 4 of you are playing 1 person as you move around a merry band of people trying to win the princess's heart. And that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get no black gems in your hand. You're going to have to dump them. You're going to have to get 7 coins, 7 hearts to even get into the castle to get the princess's hand. They also have this little thing that makes it a little bit easier, that you can cover this to make it a shorter game, but to be honest, you don't really need that. Each player will get their own little player shield here. They'll get the emblem, the shield emblem that matches their player shield as well. They'll also start with 3 gold coins and 1 elixir that I'll mention what it does in a moment. Now, on a game turn, it's going to be very easy. You put this out here. Basically, you're going to choose one of these towers for the action, and the towers are what's facing that player. So for me, I can go to the water fairy, I can go to the goldsmith, I can fight the dragon, or I can go to the forest fairy. For other players, whatever side they're seeing 4 different actions than I am. And as I take one of those actions, I will turn that tower clockwise, counterclockwise 9 degrees. Now, if you see here, there are arrows here to show you where exactly you're supposed to turn it. So if I was to go, let's say I was going to goldsmith, I would turn it this way. So that would therefore change the actions of the other 3 players as well. So it's a neat little mechanism in the game. After that, you would move your hero group along these roads here, stopping at different places. That would be, so this would be 1 movement, that would be 2, that would be 3. You can move up to 3 spaces, and for any additional space, you can get 1, you have to pay 1 gold coin. So for instance, let's say I wanted to, I don't know, make it to the dealer there, and I went 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, why'd I go through there? Because I'm picking up any gems along the way. So if I went through here, let's say I went through here, I would get to pick one of these gems to keep. Now, if it's an area where there is a color gem and a black gem, I get them both, which I really don't want the black gem, but I have to get them both. But it's just a way for you to move around the board, get more gems. Of course, you have to pay coins for anything +3. And then after that, you would carry out the action of that destination, which is very simple. Let me just tell you what each one of these destinations do for you. First off, you got the forest fairy here. You can pick one of these 2 magical pine cones. They're one-time uses in the game, and the instructions tell you what each one does. Right down here, you have the swordsmith. He will give you 2 swords. You can also go to the wizard. For the wizard, you can pay 1 coin and he will let you go anywhere on the board and take that action. Or if you wanted to instead, you could zip down here to the magical tournament. So this is where the wizard resides, and then you can go anywhere, or you can just slip over here to go to the magical tournament. Basically what you do is pay 1 sword, and you can either get a heart or 3 coins. Now once you're done, you move that pawn right up there, because that's an area you cannot reach on your own. You have to just go through the wizard and pay him to get to the magical tournament. Anyway, other things you can do in the game. You can go to the goldsmith here. And the goldsmith, for 1 gem of any color, he'll give you a gold coin. Or if you have 2 gems of the same color, he'll give you 1 heart. Or if you have 3 gems of the same color, he'll give you 2 hearts. Remember, hearts are what you need at the end of the game. You can go up here to the fountain fairy. The fountain fairy will let you discard one of the black nasty gems you have. You can discard it and you basically throw it out of the game. You don't even throw it back in the bag. So you're going to have to visit the fountain fairy quite a lot, especially when you're wanting to get married, because you can't have any black gems on you. And you'll be collecting them a lot because there's a lot of black gems in this bag. By the way, I should also mention, whenever you collect a gem, you immediately replace it in the bag here with the other ones. So if I was to collect both of these, I'd replace it with 2 more there. You also have here, you have our dealer here. You can cash in any of these types of coins here. For instance, he'll take 1 gold coin, I'm sorry, 1 yellow crystal for 2 coins, or a red and a blue for 4, or 2 greens and a blue for 6. Once you use this one, once you activate it and you say, okay, I'll trade you 2 greens and a blue for 6 coins. You get 6 coins, discard that one, and a new one comes out. And it'll be different colored gems each time. Here is the little thief. If you go to him, you draw into this bag and you'll pick out 3 gems and you'll keep 1 of them and put the other ones back. Now, as a special rule, if you happen to draw 3 black gems, you don't have to pick any of those. You can discard them and redraw again because they want you to get a colored gem there. The gem color really doesn't matter in the game for the most part, unless you get a purple one. I want to talk about purple gems. Purple gems are gems that let you do an action twice. So for instance, if I wanted to do the thief's action twice, I would just pay this purple gem and I could do it a second time as well. Anyway, the dragon here, the dragon's very fun. Every time you go to the dragon, you fight him. You roll this die, and whatever pops up, that's the colored gem you have to give him to defeat him, I guess. So if I had a blue gem, I could defeat the dragon and get a heart. Now, at the same time, what happens if you don't have that gem? Nothing happens. It's fine. But if I rolled it and I didn't have a blue gem, I could pay a sword to re-roll and see if I can get something else. So maybe a red gem, maybe I had that and I could pay it and defeat the dragon. So that's how you defeat the dragon there. I should also mention at the start of the game, you do get, on top of your 3 coins in your elixir, you do get to choose an extra ability or extra thing you want in the game. If it's a coin or a sword, or you could even get a gem, a colored gem from the bag. It cannot be a purple gem, but it can be any other color. In fact, the back of this little thing will tell you, hey, this is what you can start with: a gem of your color, or whatever color you want, a coin, or a sword. So anyway, that's what you're doing. You're moving around the board, twisting these towers, taking the actions, collecting coins or gems along the way, and trying to have 0 black gems, 7 coins, and 7 hearts. Now, once you have that, what you do is you stop controlling this guy. It doesn't matter where he is now. You don't move him anymore. What you do is you take your little shield and you place it right here on the church, saying, okay, hey guys, I've got all the necessary requirements. I've got the 7 coins, 7 hearts, and no black gems. And you could reveal that to everyone, take away part of your player shield and show them. Well, now a different game begins for you. You're going to have to start flipping over these doors to find the prince and princess. So you flip this one over first and it says red gem. What does that mean? It means your turn will end unless you pay a red gem. So if I didn't have a red gem, I couldn't do anything. Well, then the rest of the players take their turn. So then it's my turn again. I flip over this one. Oh, it's a sword. Well, maybe I have an extra sword. So I pay the extra sword and I can keep flipping over doors. So I flip this one over. Blue gem. Okay, let's say I have a blue gem. So I pay the blue gem and then I flip another one over. And as you see, oh, I need a yellow gem. Oh, I don't have a yellow gem. So my turn ends and then everyone takes their turn. So you see how this game is going here. And of course, if I was to pick, boom, the prince or princess right there, then I would win the game. Now, one thing I forgot to mention here was the elixir. The elixir will let you take a turn on top of another player. For instance, let's say another player was to go to the forest fairy. The fountain fairy there to get rid of a black gem. Man, I really need to get rid of one of my black gems too. So what I do, even though it's not my turn, I give that current player my elixir. I give it over to him, and then I can take that action as well. And you can take that action for wherever another player is. And so each player starts with 1, and you'll be passing these around throughout the game. But that's kind of how the elixirs work there. Now, there is also a mini expansion in the game. It's basically called the 10th door. And what it is, you could put it out, and it's an evil prince or princess. And what this means is, if you flip over them, you have to give up a heart, or you're out of the game. And a little bit harder, but it makes you want to get extra resources before you go into the castle. And of course, whoever gets the prince and princess first wins the game. Final thoughts, what do I think about the game? Well, you know, folks, there's someone who watches my channel, and he's been giving me suggestions on games I should get, and man, that dude's batting 1,000 right now. This is a fantastic game. It is a lot of fun. It's a game for families. It's a game for adults. My adult gaming group loves it. My nephews haven't played it yet because they just haven't gotten around to showing it to them, but I know they're going to love it too. It's very simple. There is a lot of strategy involved. In fact, I forgot to mention, you can pay a sword to twist a tower without taking the action if you want to get to an action that you want. So that's another use for swords. We forget that rule all the time when we play the game, and I totally forget it till later on. We're like, oh, you have to make these swords. You don't have to make these choices. You can pay a sword. And we forget that. So that's probably why I skipped over it in the review. But either way, such a great game. So much fun. I love how when you're going to the castle, it's a catch-up mechanism. You know, it's a crapshoot, right? If you pick over the first one at the very beginning, you'll win the game. But the first time we played, I think I got every door but the prince and princess. And I was getting scared because every time I didn't have that item, it gave everyone an extra turn to catch up with me. And if they can get to the church after I've revealed maybe half the doors or all but 2, they have an even better chance at winning. So some people say, oh man, I hate that. I actually like it. I think it's really cool. It makes a lot of sense because it gives people hope that they're still in this game as long as I keep picking up the wrong door. Now, the next time I played this game, I just kept, because you don't know who has what items because they're behind your player shield. Until they enter the church, nothing is revealed. So I was going on collecting a few more gems. I got some extra swords, an extra coin, which was really good because you have to spend a coin too in one of those doors. And I went in there and had to spend all that. Sometimes you have to spend dump a magic item. So you may want to have a little bit extra of everything to make sure you can flip over all the doors and win on one move. But then you're taking the chance of someone else rushing into the church first. I really, really, really enjoy the end game on this. So should you get it? Yes, it's cheap. It's so much fun. It's beautiful to look at. Well worth your time. What about the mini expansion, the 10th door? I played with it. I love it. I love it because now you're having to pay a heart, which could boot you out of the game completely because you need to make sure you have an extra heart. Do you need it? No, you don't. You don't need that 10th door expansion. It costs too much, probably shipping and all. It would cost way too much than what it's worth. But the base game, yeah, definitely worth it. Good pick. Anyway, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on!